Good morning. I'm Pam Schumann, and I'm a worship associate here at Horizon. We're excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're so glad that to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time, or whether you've been here for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. Before we begin worship, we have a few announcements. I also encourage you to read the inserts and printed announcements in the order of service. Today, there are special schedules for our children. Our nursery is open to children in kindergarten and under, and they may be dropped off anytime for childcare. After the time for all ages, children 6 and older will be sung back to their seats and remain in the service. Save the date, December 4th, next Sunday, on your calendar for Horizon's tree trimming party for fun and fellowship as we decorate the tree in Fellowship Hall. And now I would like to invite Alan Sproat to come up and say a few words.
So it's that time of year again. I'm going to put on the traditional hat and play the traditional sounds. Oh, you thought I meant Christmas. No, I'm talking about the Horizon auction time. Bidding is open. We'll be open until the 11th. One thing to keep in mind is that there are a number of things that have not been bid on yet, and the minimum bid is only $1 on almost everything. You don't have to bid the value. You can bid a lower value, and people can ramp up the excitement and trying to outbid everybody. It'll be great. So go to the site. There's a link here. There's the name of the website here. There's instructions on how to use the QR code on the bulletin board. So let's get out there and bid. You've got 2 weeks. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Puck Marin Glass, to do our call to worship.
Good morning. Embracing the Unexpected by Krista Flanagan. What if everything always went according to plan? At first, we might accomplish more of what we think we need to accomplish, and it may seem less stressful. At first, being able to anticipate what happens next. But after a certain amount of time, and this time would vary from person to person, the once comfortable predictability would become less comfortable and, well, boring. If we always know what happens next, we lose the joy of surprise, serendipitous experiences, and the excitement that comes from anticipating the unknown. Friends, let us gather with open, curious hearts, ready to explore the unpredictable, learn from its wisdom, and embrace its beauty. We turn to our chalice lighting, Open to Unexpected Answers by Julian Lepp. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths.
And now, as you are able to rise in body or spirit as we say our affirmation, which is located in your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. And now, please remain standing as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, Gathered here, number 389 in the gray hymnal, and the words are projected on the screen.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to go through it once, and then we'll bring you guys in, and we'll do it twice, okay? No rounds. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near.
And now Laura and Daniel will come forward and do our time for all ages.
I'm going to invite the young and the young at heart to sit right in front of the chancel over here. And one of the things we do with our children is we have them bring up our donations for MetroCrest services. As you can imagine, with the holiday season upon us, the need is very great at MetroCrest services. They are looking for personal care items, monthly period products, diapers, baby wipes, and shelf-stable food items. If you have brought those kinds of items to church today, would you pass them to a young person who will place them in the basket here? There we go. Well, hello, everybody. I see lots of people back there, up here. I'm so glad to see you today. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm actually going to be reading you a book. But there's and it's just a wonderful book. It's called Here and Now by Julia Denos, and it's illustrated by E.B. Goodale. And so if you might all want to come up a little bit closer so you can see the pictures. Some are on the screen, but not all. Okay, the book is called Here and Now. Right here, right now, you are reading this book. The book is in your lap, or in someone else's hands, or in your hands. You are sitting, or you're standing, or you are wrapped up in a bed. I love this picture. Do you see the book in the person's hands? And I know the folks at home can't. It's a beautiful book. Under your bum, under your feet, is a seat or a floor. Or if you're in an airplane, there's a cloud. And under all of those things is the earth, the grass, and the dirt, and earthworms, and fossils, and rocks. Can you see all of them? Yeah. And the earth is spinning in the middle of space. We don't know exactly why, but it is. And you are too. Right here, right now, while you are reading this book, many, many things are happening. Rain is forming in the belly of a cloud. An ant has finished its home on the other side of the planet. And if you were real close, you could see that everything is upside down because they're on the other side of the planet. someone is getting a telephone call. An idea is blooming. Grass is pushing up through cement, and a friend you haven't met yet is sitting down to dinner. There are animals, wild ones, tame ones, living beneath all around you. Muscles are growing, cities are growing, babies are growing. Do you see that baby in the window? Yeah. Cuts and broken bones are being sewn up and healing. Unseen work is being done. Right here, right now, you are becoming. Isn't it wonderful? Now, there's a little note by the author that I wanted to read everyone. Noticing is like magic. It brings us just as we are into this present moment, just as it is. This is a freedom of place I call the here and now. It is a land well known by young children and plants and animals. It is a place where peace and possibility root, a place where we feel connected to the greater unfolding story. Sometimes when our minds and our bodies are busy, we forget how to get back. But all we need to do is return again and notice the world around us. We don't need to sit down or stop what we are doing. We don't even need to close our eyes. Let's open our senses wide instead. Well, thank you all for listening. I think this crowd in front of me, we are going to be going to childcare right now. So thank you all. Let's go ahead and sing our kids out to childcare. Thank you.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
It is now time for our offertory. When we join in religious community, we offer ourselves to be changed and transformed. We share a bit of our skill, we pledge a portion of our income, we spend time caring for each other. As we give, we receive. As we give, we are transformed. And now, Jamie, John, and Joel will sing Chocolate Jesus while this morning's offering is given and received.
Let's see if we can't give Brother Joel here a little hand and clap along to this. Well, I don't go to church on Sunday. I don't get on my knees to pray. Don't memorize the books of the Bible. I got my own special way. I know Jesus loves me, maybe just a little bit more. I fall down on my knees every Sunday. It's a Elderly's candy store. Well, it's got to be a chocolate Jesus. Make me feel good inside. to be a chocolate Jesus that keep me satisfied. Well, I don't want no Abba Zaba. I don't want no almond joy. There ain't nothing better suitable for this boy. Well, it's the only thing that can pick me up better than a cup of gold. See, only a chocolate Jesus can satisfy my soul. When the weather gets rough and it's whiskey in the shade, it's best to wrap your sail, you shave your up and sail don't fade. He flows like the big muddy, but that's okay. They pour him over ice cream for a nice buffet. It's got to be a chocolate Jesus. It's good enough for me. Yeah, it's got to be a chocolate Jesus. It's good enough for me. Well, it's got to be a chocolate Jesus. Makes me feel so good inside. It's got to be a chocolate Jesus that keeps me satisfied.
Our first reading is Don't Hesitate by Mary Oliver. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give into it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns about to be destroyed. About to be. We are not wise and we are not often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back. That sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you will notice it in an instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb.
It is now time for our joys and sorrows and a prayer and meditation. Love is the doctrine of this church, and it is with this principle that we walk with one another through our joys and sorrows, and especially in the ways these things tend to arrive all at once in one tangled blessing we call life. We will now take time to honor the joys and sorrows of this community, knowing that we are all interconnected and that what affects one affects us all. We have a sorrow from Beth Blake Hedges, letting us know that Mary Blow's father is in the hospital. And during this time of sharing joys and sorrows, we want to remember those lost, injured, and threatened by intolerance, especially in the LGBTQIA+ community. November 20th was the Transgender Day of Remembrance, and last weekend our hearts were broken by the shooting at Club Q in Colorado Springs. We also mourn the victims of the shooting in the Chesapeake, Virginia Walmart. On the other hand, we do joyously share the celebrations of family and friends coming together for Thanksgiving. May we continue to build more connections and relationships with love. As I light this candle to honor all the joys and sorrows that have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts, let us feel all the ways that we are connected to each other and to all beings. And are we going to do our responsive hymn? Okay. We will, actually, I'm sorry, I need to do the meditation first. I'm so sorry. You're going to stay up there, okay. As they're getting ready, let us take a few minutes for some meditation and prayer. Let us breathe in and breathe out. The breath we share with all on our earth and in our universe. Feel the love of the universe flowing through this community into you and out again into this community and surrounding communities and into the universe again. Use your love to give hope and support to those beings that you meet, helping them to find peace, to be strong and healthy in body and spirit, to be loving and caring energy in the world. Be the light that you already are. That is enough. Blessed be, so may it be. Amen. And now we will have the responsive Spirit of Life, hymn 123 in your hymnal.
Our second reading, Sharing a Bag by Ross Gay, from the Book of Delights. I adore it when I see two people together. Today, it was from the looks of it, a mother and child here on Canal Street in Chinatown, sharing the burden of a shopping bag or a sack of laundry by each gripping one of the handles. It at first seems to encourage a kind of staggering, as the uninitiated or the impatient will try to walk at his own pace, the bag twisting this way and that, whacking shins or skidding along the ground. But, as we mostly do, feeling the sack, which has become kind of a tether between us, we modulate our pace, even our sway and saunter, the good and soul rhythms we might swear we live by, to the one on the other side of the sack. I suppose part of why I adore the sack sharing is because most often, this is a burden. One or the other could manage just fine solo, which makes it different from dragging Granny's armoire up 2 flights of steps, or wrestling free a trunk stuck hip deep in a snowbank. Yes, it's the lack of necessity of this act that's perhaps precisely why it delights me so. Everything that needs doing, getting the groceries or laundry home, would get done just fine without this mere collaboration. But the only thing that needs doing without it would not. As a person who enjoys going out, but at an age where the majority of my friends and peers are married with children, I am often what is colloquially known as the third wheel. Society teaches us this is a dreaded social location, right? There are full-length movies, usually in the comedy genre, about it. An informal definition of this term from the internet is an unwanted third party accompanying two people on a date. While I am unsure I completely agree with this definition, given that it's usually the third wheel that would also rather be anywhere else with anyone else, I have grown to love being the third wheel. When was the last time you intentionally watched two people in love? Lovers, parents with their young children, children with their aging parents, friends whose love is easy and light, aging couples who still look at each other with a renewed youth. As a regular third wheel, I get the honor of being present for these moments consistently. These are beautiful and almost undefinable moments. When Ross Gay sets out to notice a joy in his life every day for a year, I am sure he too was present and witness to many indescribable moments. Yet, as a poet and writer, he sets out to define those moments anyway in a way I cannot. Though not physically present, through his words, I am watching a parent with a laundry or grocery bag that would be much easier to carry themselves give the second handle to their child. Maybe it's an attempt to keep them tethered as they walk through Chinatown. Maybe it is because this parent just needs a bit of distance after entertaining this child for an hour at the store or the laundromat. Maybe it's because the child so wants to be helpful and is just a bit too small or too young to complete the task on their own. Or maybe it is because they would much rather be holding hands, but the daily needs of laundry have made this task impossible. But Gay, a third wheel to this situation, sees that the moment he finds so joyful, because this action of sharing a bag is unnecessary, and yet he is serving witness to it. I have a hard time believing that either the child or the parent was having the most joyous moments of their life sharing this bag. It's not a grand proposal. It's not the child saying their first words. It's not a long-anticipated graduation. But we are here today discussing and pondering this moment because this remarkably normal action was witnessed by someone who dared to read joy into it. Yes, he put joy into this normal doldrum moment. We are approaching the most wonderful time of the year, at least according to the songwriter George Weil. We are told this is supposed to be a season of joy, beginning with an acknowledgement of what we are thankful for and lasting through the winter holidays of many cultures. We celebrate light amidst night, love among loss, and community among growing individualism. But for many, the night, the loss, and the individualism are still overwhelming. The constant run of Hallmark movies with happy endings and images of lovers holding mittened hands as they walked through a snowy lit Central Park serves as a reminder of all that is absent from their own lives. Just because the world is telling you to be joyful does not change the circumstances of your own life. There is no joy fairy that will come along and sprinkle sweet-smelling and sparkly dust everywhere to create a lighthearted giddiness tied up with a deep sense of love and satisfaction. Ross Gay was not an active participant in this possible joyless scene with the parent and child, but in the witnessing of the moment, he was filled with delight. I can imagine the twinkle in his eye, much brighter than the red suit-donned, white-bearded man known for spreading holiday cheer, as he decided that this was a moment he couldn't let go of. Mary Oliver opens her poem with a reminder that if you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. I can't agree more. And yet only a line later, she is reminding us that sometimes, maybe most of the time, the world can really suck. Life is often unfair. There are millions and even billions of hungry people in the world, though there is more than enough food harvested globally. We still enslave people in the traditional sense and through unjust labor practices. People of various identities do not have equal access to basic needs and rights. There is constantly a war, or several, somewhere in the world. And yet we go on to wake up and go to work and live our lives as if this is the way it's supposed to be. Our well-intended justice efforts, though helpful on some scales, largely fall short of creating meaningful and lasting change. And where is the joy in this? Oliver tells us that the joy happens in the moments of possibility, that life is fighting its way back. Life is fighting its way back. Then it seems reasonable to deduce that Oliver understands joy as life. Maybe Oliver is correct in stating that joy suddenly floods the entirety of one's being, but I think that joy is a practice, much more like Ross Gay would say. When we are intentional about noticing, we can find joy anywhere. I suppose I notice it most when I have let my very long hair down. There are places that I know that joy will fill me, although the amount of joy I am capable of feeling usually surprises me, like on those giant swings at a carnival, or finding an ice cream shop that has hard butterscotch dip, or taking a random detour off the highway to see a giant volcano or the world's largest rocking chair. That's in Casey, Illinois. It's usually these simple things. I also believe that when we are intentional about noticing joy, we will start creating joy too, for ourselves and for others. So I'd like to pause here for a moment and offer you a space to notice where you found joy this morning. I know there are different types of people, and some of us have lived a whole day. You're up at 4 a.m. ready to go, and some of us maybe rolled out of bed to get here. But regardless of how long your morning has been, where was there joy? Maybe you noticed the way your child woke you up as they ran into your bedroom covered in marker, and you wished the day had started any other way. But now that the child is clean and out the door, or even just out the door, still covered in the blue, green, and red marks of childhood, you notice the expression of excitement and awe mixed with the smirk of knowing better that occurred just before you were able to process the moment. Maybe you noticed the way two baristas laughed as they worked their way through the line of cups piling up for fancy seasonal drinks. Maybe you noticed the bit of chill in the air that prompted you to pull your coat just a little bit tighter and reminded you of carefree moments playing in the snow as a child. There really is so much joy if we dare to find it. So I'd like to pause again and ask you to reflect on where you found joy this morning. If you are anything like me, you might be rolling your eyes, stubbornly insisting that there were no joyful moments because the thought of these reflections is aggravating and annoying. If that's the case, I hear you. I am you. Yeah, I am you. But if joy is a practice, then we must practice. So I'm going to ask you where you found joy. Look for a moment that could be totally ordinary, except you were there to witness it, or to see that this everyday interaction is different because you made it or can make it different. When you have sat in that joyful moment long enough to feel it down into your toes, in just a sentence or two, share with a neighbor what has brought you joy this morning. I do see those of you looking at your toes, and there are several of you. So there are people you can get up and share with. I am going to guess that at least some of the moments you all just shared with each other are moments you didn't expect to be calling joyous when you rolled out of bed today. Some may be joyous because they are unrecreatable, fleeting moments, and the joy of the moment is bound up in its ephemeral passing. Or maybe you noticed something that once brought you joy, to you often, has become so routine that you forgot you began the action because of the delight you experienced. Or maybe you noticed that something you do every day seemed a little different this morning, and there is joy in experiencing this routine with fresh senses. Or maybe you struggled to come up with a moment that filled your senses with contentment. We all have real experiences and real moments, and not everything can or should be joyful. Your moment will come, maybe when driving home or snuggling up to a furry friend turning on the TV at night. We can honor where we are and noticing or creating moments of joy among all the other emotions that make us human, and that takes time. And maybe you can live into the moment of joy after hearing what a neighbor has said or shared with you. These are our stories. We understand our lives through stories. Our brains search for a beginning, middle, and end to things because we are storytellers. Not every story will be one of happiness. That would not be true to our human experience. But what if every story contained somewhere in it, however small, joy? Maybe you are familiar with the series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, either in book or movie or TV show form. You'll recall that 3 children, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire, experience misfortune at every turn. They are somehow in constant peril. In each book, the children start in a bad situation, have hope for a better one, get placed with or near someone that might love or care for them, end up on a remarkable and ridiculous journey, and conclude with things unfortunately not ending in their favor. This occurs 13 times throughout the series. Yet these stories continue to be read, even though the author is remarkably upfront in telling readers that if they are looking for a book with a happy ending, they should close this book immediately and make another selection. So why do these continue to get read? They are read because throughout these stories are moments of delight, of hope, of joy. We, collectively, are the third wheels in this story, in which 3 children and random good people love and care for each other. We are witness to small joys, which do not go unrecognized by the Baudelaire children or the kind souls around them. Something as simple as a good chew toy brings the youngest, Sunny, squeals of delight. And when Violet pulls out her ribbon to tie up her hair, we, the audience, know that in this decrepit situation, she is heading to the favorite space in her brain in which her gears are turning to create something that will inevitably get them out of their predicament. As the audience to this fictional set of events, we continue to read about the tragedy these children experience because they know how to find and create joy. The best part of these books is the way in which the children recognize what will bring joy to the others. Violet passes on books to Klaus, as she knows that this knowledge and the ability to hide in a book for a while will bring Klaus joy. The older 2 delight just as much as Sunny will when they find a carrot and are able to present it to her, knowing that she will be thrilled at getting something to crunch on for a moment. All of the children delight in the ability to offer someone else, someone they care about, a source of joy. Who do you bring joy to? Who brings you joy? Maybe this joy is shared merely by being in the presence of people, or them to the presence of you. Maybe this joy is shared because someone knows what delights you and they go out of their way to cook a favorite meal, to send you a postcard while they are traveling, to send you a meme or TikTok video of a dancing cat because they know you will delight in it. So one more time, I'm going to pause and ask you to take a moment and think about how you will create joy when you leave this space today. If it is you that needs joy, Think about what, within your means, would allow you to feel satisfied. Or maybe it is a family member or a friend. What do you know about them that will allow them to feel seen and loved and unexpectedly joyous? Or maybe it is a stranger. What might an unexpected compliment do to bring in joy? So we'll take a moment to ponder how you can create joy today. This season is a complex one. There is much to rejoice in and much to mourn. And whether the season is your favorite or one you are ready to be done with, I hope you leave some room for the unexpected. There is no need to feel joy this holiday because society attempts to sell you joy as a season. But you may find joy in two people sharing a bag as they walk down the street. There is something about joy and the unexpected. When this upcoming season tells you how or when to be joyous, I hope you look for the joy that would exist in this season or not. Noticing joys in unexpected places allows us to make our stories compelling regardless of the circumstance. Creating unexpected joys is allowing miniature miracles to exist amidst a world that is not designed for human flourishing. We are complicated beings of surprise and wonder, of sadness and anger, of depression, of elation, and we are unexpected bubbles of energy that fill us from our head to toes with delight. We are joy. Is it 1064? Yes. Please join me in our, is it the closing hymn? Our closing hymn, number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
That gave me joy to hear it done that way. Lovely, thank you. And now we're going to extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to Horizon's mission to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. And we do this because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world.
I would like to thank everyone for welcoming here this morning and for the ways things came together. The story this morning, Here and Now, which centered on the unexpected that we might find, the music that was carefully thought for, the welcome and share that Pam brought us today, and all those we cannot see who are caring for children behind the scenes today. Blessed is the Path by Eric Williams. Blessed is the path on which you travel. Blessed is the body that carries you upon it. Blessed is your heart that has heard the call. Blessed is your mind that discerns the way. Blessed is the gift that you will receive by going. Truly blessed is the gift that you will become on the journey. May you go forth in peace. Is there a recessional? Thank you.